I'm actually going to bring on Michaela. She's hopped on a little bit early, and I think Ellen must have had something go on. She hasn't been able to join us. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on Miss Michaela real quick. There she is. Oh, she was here. Let's see. She's not coming on. Oh, no. All right. Maybe Nina can get her on. I don't know what's going on. There she is.
Hi.
Hi. You weren't wanting to come on the show.
No, I was very sheepish today. I was feeling insecure.
You know, I was just telling these guys, have you tried Clubhouse yet?
What's Clubhouse?
Okay, so I'm so excited. I get to share this with somebody. I get to be the informer because I feel so late to the party. I'm very excited about this. And one of our guests one of our viewers just brought this up, and she said, if you have a voice and want to use it, just be sure to mute yourself on stage. Yes, I have been warned about that. I am very, very excited about Clubhouse because basically it's just an opportunity to network and to get on and talk. And so what you'll see, hey, people are going to be talking about this subject. Do you want to join? And you can just hop on, and then everybody takes turns and talks and that kind of thing. And it's really cool. I mean, there's all these great, you can learn so many different things and be connected to people all over the world. It's really, really cool.
Like, could I do it for psychology and counseling stuff too? Or is it just for
Yes. No, it's all things. It's all things. Okay, we are learning together. Even our guests are learning. See, Clubhouse. And thank you for the note, Diane. Clubhouse is currently only available on iPhone, and I have been told there's some kind of desktop version too. For those of you that don't, I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't checked it out myself, but I have been told that there is some kind of desktop option too. But yeah, Clubhouse is the new thing I have been introduced to. So yeah, social media, guys. Michaela and I have talked about this on the show so many times, guys. Seriously. Oh, and now we're going to talk about our next favorite subject. This is one of Michaela and I's favorite subjects too. When you are personally branding yourself, and that's even messaging somebody, that is sending your resume, that's your intro email, whatever that is. Don't be weird. Don't be weird.
Because it's so rampant.
Yes, it's everywhere. Here's a few examples that I have personally experienced from people just this week.
Oh no. And
keep in mind, this first one is from a brand new connection on LinkedIn. Hey, you.
No.
I don't know you. That's a very awkward introduction. Maybe start off with, hi, it's great to meet you. I saw you on.
I wish I could like swipe left on some people.
Right? Yes, swipe left. No, because let me tell you what does happen. We don't have swipe left on LinkedIn, but what we do have is remove connection. And that happens real fast.
Listen to this advice. That is so true. Like that is a great way to get yourself removed so quickly because professional people don't want to deal with it. Like,
no, it's weird. And don't immediately ask for something. That's my other pet peeve. Even if you want something from them, get to know them a little bit first. Nobody wants to do you a favor if they don't know you. Let them get to know you. Let them know who you are. I have people now that if they reach out to me, they just get the favor. Whatever it is, they just get it. But it's because I know them. In fact, we talked about Janice Downey earlier on the show. She's one of those people. She can call me up now and be like, hey, I need this. And I'd go, okay. Because she cultivated a relationship first. Mm-hmm. And when you are connecting to people, make sure you have a reason to say, hey, I'm in your same industry. I want to get to know my peers. What's going on with you, with your company? What new products do you have? What's going on? Just whatever it is, make a personal connection. Another one, and guys, this is mostly for you, although Trevor Houston, who has been on the show, has recently told me he's been experiencing this too. People do not, and I cannot stress this enough, use pet names when introducing yourself to someone on a professional forum.
What?
Now, I am from the South. I'm gonna get into this. No doll face. I got called that one this week.
Are you
brand
serious?
New? Yep, doll face.
That is so confusing. That's an issue. Okay.
Yeah. Hey there, sexy. Also very much not appropriate. Just throwing that on out there. Even sweetheart. And guys, I am from the South. Okay. So I understand we just kind of, but tone it down a little bit. Okay. When you're meeting people, think, how is this going to be perceived to someone else? Reread your communication. Big tip when personal branding, whether you are doing a post, whether you are planning a speech, all that. Reread it. Censor yourself. Edit.
Yeah, multiple times to make sure it sounds professional, make sure you're grammatically correct. I have to read through I really read through a lot to make sure that I have gotten everything correct, especially when it's a professional outreach.
Yes.
You want to brand yourself in the best way possible. So it's worth checking over, you guys. It really is.
100%. Oh, and G has also reminded us, Craig Fisher, who has been on the show multiple times, great guy, really knows his stuff. He has a whole thing about his 5:1 ratio sum. And basically, and that was on one of our previous episodes. In fact, the last time he was on, he talked about this. You can go find the clip that Michaela made for us on YouTube. Thank you very much, Michaela. About give 5 for every one that you ask. So even whether it's a post, so give 5, give knowledge, give tips, something like that to your one request for something. I'm not as good about that. I got to say, I do more like a 4:1 ratio, and I need to get better about the 5. And on show weeks, I slip down to like a 3:1, and that's really not good. I've got to get better about that. So that's even one that I'm still working on. But you're right. Craig has some great tips for that.
That is a really good tip, because people want, they want reciprocity. And so they want to make sure that you're not someone who's just going to take and take and take without giving something in return.
100%. 100%. And yes, spell check is your friend, and so is Grammarly. I was just having this discussion with another show host. Grammar, folks. And we're not all good at it naturally. That is okay.
And guess who is?
Yeah. It's
on LinkedIn and be like, hey, would really like some help with this. Like one of your connections that you already have established that relationship with, and say, hey, would love for you to just look this over real quick.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And let me also point out that when you are reaching out, whether it's in a professional email, whether it's in a post, whatever it is, in a message to someone, don't use words like you can't, don't say cannot, do not. And I'm completely blanking out of the term right now. I apologize, guys. I actually do know it, but it's completely eluding me right now. But don't do that. Spell it, say full words. don't run them together. And also do not use slang. That's another really big one. Do not use slang when you're in professional communication.
Don't say yo. Don't say.
Oh, well, yeah. Even professional slang. In your initial communication, don't use professional slang. Wait till you get to know them a little bit. Wait till you get to know them, because it's very off-putting. It's just, you want to seem personable, but not personal.
Yeah. I like that you've used that term, because that's extremely accurate to what we're talking about. People expect, especially on LinkedIn, in a professional world, you guys, people expect you to be professional. That's what the expectation is. Personal is in your personal life. Personable is what you want to carry over into the professional world, which is still you. We're not telling you to not be yourself. By all means, be yourself.
Right. Remember, be genuine. Yeah. I said, yeah, be genuine, because I talked about that at the start of the show. Be genuine at all times, but dial it down. Like, I'm a lot. Okay, guys, my sister here will tell you I am a lot. Okay. And I am loud and all that, but I have to tone that down when I'm dealing with people, and I have to speak at a more steady pace than I normally do. Not always great about that on the show, I'm not going to lie, but in business meetings and things like that, I nail it. Just that slow, steady, relaxed pace.
And you're yourself. You're just a more personable version of yourself. You show you sort of like, and I do the same thing. You sort of like tweak yourself and what's the word, like shape yourself to be. It's just a certain way that fits the situation. And a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say, well, I just want to be myself. And if someone doesn't like me for who I am, then I don't want to work there. Well, okay, that's fair. If that's how you want to be, power to you. But the reality is, in the professional world, there's certain expectations.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And you can still be yourself and be professional.
You can be a manageable version of yourself.
Yes, be a manageable version of you, and don't be weird.
Manageable.
And don't be weird.
Please.
Oh, and also, guys, bring humor to what you do. You've also heard me probably on the show talk about don't be a potato.
Appropriate. Okay. Humor, though. We need to throw that
appropriate. Yeah, yes, appropriate humor, please. Appropriate humor. Yes, because let me tell you, I have a sailor's sense of humor, okay? But I don't share that on my professional setting. No. That is for my personal life, right?
Maybe that's a career launch we should have, is how to be personable instead of
There you go. Instead of versus personal. That's a great idea. I'm going to write that down. That's going to be a good note.
I'm writing it down. I'm going to write it down for you.
I don't have a pen. Don't be. You're my assistant. You do it. So again, guys, so personable, not personal. So one thing, so Michaela's topic is how to get psyched up. And this is so important, whether you're going to a networking event or interview or going to a big meeting, right? You got to get your mind right. And if you don't know, so we talked on earlier in the show about what I do. I run a recruiting consulting company. I'm currently building out a new ATS, by the way, that completely eliminates discrimination in the application process. Super stoked about that. Michaela is fascinating. She has had a very, very successful career, even though she hasn't even gotten to technically start her career yet. In counseling, she has a psychology degree. She is a counseling major. She's does pet therapy with the all famous Maslow. Who is here with us? Yes, Maslow, and somewhere in the background are all of mine. I have 5 million animals wandering around back behind me. And she's spoken at conventions and all kinds of things. So that's kind of her background, just so you guys know, that's her background. So she's going to talk to us about the psychology behind personal branding and what you need to do to get psyched up. So I'm going to let you kind of take it away for a minute, Miss Michaela.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the first thing that popped into my mind when you said like getting psyched up is, are you doing what you're passionate about? We've talked about passion a lot on this show, and I think that's one of the most important ways to get yourself psyched up. Are you going for a job that you absolutely want to do? Now, if you're also just like trying to find a job to just get the bills paid, I understand that. That's something that you have to do sometimes as a means to an end while you're working towards what you want to do. Even then, you can find a passion. You can say, this is something I'm just having to do to get to my passion, to get to my goal, and that can psych you up. And I think while talking about getting psyched up, it's also important to talk about the barriers to getting psyched up. And I know that one that's big for me and big for a lot of people is insecurity. Especially when we're talking about personal branding. And I see you sort of nodding along, Catherine, as though you've also experienced this. Insecurity is a very normal experience to have. I want to first say that insecurity is okay. It's something that can very easily be managed and worked through with the proper awareness and understanding of what's going on. But yeah, that especially in personal branding, putting yourself out there, it's vulnerable. Of course, you're going to feel insecure. It's threatening because you're putting yourself out there. It's like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? But I do want to just give a little bit of education first on the difference between insecurity and nerves, because those are two very different things. Like if feeling insecurity is tied to self-doubt. It's a lack of confidence in oneself, and generally a self-judgment, and largely tied to expectations as well. I'll get into that just a little bit. Nerves, on the other hand, is really just that feeling of worry of like, oh, well, something may not go the best. You get a little bit of anxious. The big difference is with nerves, you can still have self-confidence. With insecurity, there's self-confidence that is lacking. And I'll sort of take a break right there if you have any thoughts, Catherine, or I can keep going.
I have a few. No, I do. And thank you. Because I loved what you said. And a couple of things is, one thing I am notorious for with my show is I don't prep people, and it makes them so nervous. And I will call somebody and go, so you're going to be on my show. And they're like, what? I've never done that. What? And it freaks them out. And then they get on and inevitably they love it. and I've gotten requests from those people. Those people that were super afraid to do it are the ones that beg to come back. Because they have that person, yes, like you, that actually, yeah, I forgot that you were like that initially. We've gotten so used to doing this together. I think
now it's nothing, but at first it's like, oh my God.
And even me, I was like, because the first career launch, guys, was 7 hours. It was exhausting.
Yeah, especially I can't imagine.
Yeah, Mike Smith did that one with me, and man, we were on for 7 hours. At the end of it, I looked cross-eyed. Like I just, it wasn't right.
Even for you love talking, but even for you, that's a lot.
And I tell you, so guys, one of the things is, you hear people talking about getting out of your comfort zone. I don't like to say that. Stay out of your comfort zone. Stay out of it. Go. I'm not gonna live there, because that's how you find your best success, is to stay out of your comfort zone. So while Michaela's talking about this, think about this to yourself, because if you stay out of your comfort zone and go on podcasts and things like that, showcase yourself as an example. Everybody should be doing that, by the way. In personal branding, go on a show. Find shows that you can speak about your expertise.
And get that clip. Like I always clips of every individual person, and you can, and if you want, I can even edit those up for you and like get little clips. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And most shows this have this capability. And if you don't, contact us, we'll give you some tips on how to make the clips for yourself out of the whole show, but use those and use them for job interviews. Go, hey, as your follow-up email, hey, by the way, I really enjoyed speaking with you about this position today. Here's a little clip where I talked about some of the exact issues that are going on in your company.
Oh, wow. That is a great idea.
Actually, same thing for a sales meeting.
But especially for branding yourself, I actually have a professional LinkedIn that I do for Maslow, and the sort of the counseling work that I do. And I actually have the idea now of going back and getting some of those clips and putting them on my on my Instagram.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And guys, this works for sales meetings. It works for anything. Use these clips. Okay, so Michaela, keep going. I want to hear more about what you have to say.
I wanted to say, I'm really glad that you brought up the thing that you do, just calling people and saying, hey, you're on my show. You're going to be on my show. You don't really get a choice, because two things can happen. The person can either, if the person's very self-confident, they'll have some nerves, but ultimately will know that their worth is not dependent on being on this show. Like, yeah, I'm going to give it a shot, whatever. Then there's the other kind of person, yours truly here, that gets insecure, because a lot of times what happens is my own expectations of myself and the judgments that I pass on myself. When Catherine called me up and said, hey, you're going to be on the show with me, I was like, I'm going to screw up. People are going to hate me. I'm not going to be, this is going to be terrible. And those are the kind of self-judgments that tend to hang people up. And I hope I'm sort of exemplifying the difference between insecurity and nerves.
And to encourage people real quick, tell them what actually happened with your segment.
People loved me.
Yeah. And she's been our favorite segment. That's why she's on every single episode, because every single episode, people talk about the value that she brings and that they want to see her again. So just side note.
Which, surprised the hell out of me. But at the same time, I guess the point really does remain that even if that hadn't have happened, my insecurity would have been rampant. But it really is those expectations that I have on myself, that everyone has to like me. Everything that I has to do has to be great. And I have to be an overachiever. And if I don't, then that means something bad about me. And that's the thought that created the insecurity and everything. Well, they're pretty much tied together. I don't like to say that thoughts and feelings occur one before the other. They're all intertwined, you guys. They really are. But as an emotional person, that tastes a little bit like vinegar coming out of my mouth, but they really are. They're all intertwined. And so I think as far as getting past insecurity, if you're like me, if you just experience nerves and you still have that self-confidence, you're pretty much good to go. I mean, the nerves are going to happen. Just be aware that they're there and you can work through the discomfort. With the insecurities, honestly, I say this a lot, but I think it's really true, and that more and more people can really do this. Be curious about yourself. Take the time to just be curious about what's going on with you. If you feel uncomfortable, stop and give yourself a moment and say, okay, what's going on? Yes. Something's happening. Let's just sit with it. That can be really difficult.
It can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be. And let's talk about how real quick.
Yeah.
How do you elevate your mindset and make yourself feel better? So a few tips I have, but that I want to hear yours for sure, are what, first of all, call somebody that pumps you up. If you have a big meeting, if you have an interview, if you have a sales pitch, whatever, a show like this to do, call somebody that gets your head right first. Call somebody that's your rah-rah. I have a few of those. I have some amazing people in my life, whether it's my sister who I make cheer for me so much, or
my pleasure.
Or thank you, or my friend Savannah, or my friend Crystal, my father. Any of these people that will just get your head right. And it's not about kissing your butt. It's about helping you. No, it's about helping you remember the things that are awesome about you, and also those people that just relax you and automatically calm you down. It's just like there's a chemical response to those people. Music, what you listen to does affect you. Okay, guys. We are the daughters of a wonderful music professor. He has a teacher, and he has also composed and he has played all over. And we come from a long line of musicians and educators. And one of the things I learned from that is how much music really does affect you and get your emotion and your mental state in a certain, whatever that is, whether it's negative, whether it's positive, whether it's loving, whether it's sad, music does affect you. So listen to that music that elevates you and gets you pumped and makes you feel invincible. Everybody's got their song. Everybody. And I sit there and jam out to it. I mean, I have 4 or 5 I just wrote, and I am just sitting there just jamming and singing and thrashing around because it gets my energy right. Yeah. What are some of your tips?
Well, first I want to say there's actually a lot of science behind what Catherine's talking about right now. And I was actually talking to our grandfather about this not too long ago. But if you're listening to things that are really fast paced and really and like loud, but I want to stick with fast paced, it gets your waves going. I've talked to you before about alpha waves and beta waves, and it gets those alpha waves, those really fast waves going in your brain. And that does pump you up, psych you up. And there's a lot of science behind that. And if you're listening to something more mellow, like I love U2, and sometimes they have like the faster stuff, but they also have like the slower things. Oh, quiet, you. Leave me and my U2 alone. But I also like to listen to we'll take U2 out of it, but even like some classical stuff. Like I go and listen to some Claire de Lune, and that gets me more mellow, like beta wave kind of state to get things done.
Right.
Anyway, I just want to touch on there's actually a lot
of huge. Yeah. And mood, guys, with personal branding is a lot. Going into something with the right mindset is a lot of your battle with personal branding. Even when I'm about to do a post on social media, I get my head right. Otherwise, it can come off way too aggressive. I'm naturally
That's a really good point.
I am naturally aggressive, guys, like just super aggressive. And I've tried to dial that back to assertive, and I think I've done a lot better with that as I've gotten older, but I still have to get my head right before I'm going to do a post that's professional. And even it affects my wording. I've noticed that. So making sure that I'm using the best words, because certain types of music and certain experiences, including speaking to certain people, put your brain in different settings. For instance, this is kind of a funny example, but my husband is really good at pool when he plays somebody else who's really good. If he's playing somebody else who's bad, he's bad. I don't quite understand, but he's playing to the level. And people do that. And if, for instance, if I'm just goofing off and being silly with people, I'm in one level of intellect, right? When I'm around people that challenge me and that make me think, a whole other level of intellect.
Yep. That's why it's so important to surround yourself with people who help you grow and who spur that in you. I always, especially in the professional world, I always try to find people who are higher level than I am. And I mean that position wise, not necessarily they're just better people than me. I just mean like higher up than I am. Oh, I cultivate the hell out of those relationships.
And people that are where you want to be. Let's branch into that. Let's talk about the networking, because this is a huge part of personal branding is networking, guys. Everyone needs to network. I don't care if you're in IT. I don't care if you're in accounting. If you are in sales, you better be networking. If you're an executive, whatever, you need to know your competition. You need to know your allies. You need to be making allies, because let me tell you, that is the best way to get a job. When you have a vast network, you can just call people up. Who's hiring?
Oh, yeah.
Here's what's up. That is the best way to get a job. It's the best way to sell your product. It's the best way to be known. And let me tell you, you'll be surprised. You'll be out networking and doing this stuff. And then a year later, somebody that you run into periodically will go, hey, I know somebody who needs exactly what you do.
And there's a door that's open.
There it is. People, I have known people that get job offers just out networking. Just, oh my God, that's amazing. I really need what you do. So you need to be networking, guys. Network. And not just in professional settings. Do conventions, by the way. Those are great. And there are inexpensive conventions. Some are pricey, some are not. Yeah. Go to conventions, wander around. Talk to people, definitely worth it. Go to obviously industry networking events, go to general networking events, go to, gender specific ones, or interest specific ones. And also just go to community networking events.
Oh, those are fun.
Yes. Just go to community ones. Yeah. What are some other ones you network with, Michaela?
I was about to say, with COVID going on, this has been more difficult to be involved in, but I want to get back into it. I live in Waco, Texas, and there's Waco Young Professionals, and that's all it is networking. It's literally young people who are professional in their careers and working. And I have made so many connections. I'm involved with Mission Waco here in town. And I still have connections there. I volunteer at Baylor Scott and White with Maslow, and oh my gosh, that has opened several doors.
Huge, yes. When the president of a major hospital system is requesting you by name and insisting that you join his meetings,
not the other dogs, Maslow and I.
Yeah, very specifically. Yeah. Having a cute dog apparently doesn't hurt.
And then also you can start while you're a student. My friends have joked with me about being a teacher's pet. I am, because I love my teachers. I do. First and foremost, I just love my teachers. I love them a great deal. And also I talk about people who can open doors for you. My goodness, I've had so many opportunities with my teachers.
Yes.
I go to conventions and I speak. I do research with them. In fact, I need to finish up some research now with them. But
and educators, guys, that can expand into other things. So people that do continuing education, people that speak at seminars and things like that. This advice that she's giving ties into people like that. And you can't just go out and meet people. You have to be interesting. So when you're out there meeting people,
you'll just find ways to. I'm sorry, I'm with that levity, but seriously, you'll find ways to make yourself interesting.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, so one of the things I did, guys, I'm going to give out one of my best tips, and it sounds silly, but it works. My business card is a bottle opener. It's a flat metal bottle opener. Everyone loves it. Everyone thinks it's so funny, and everyone remembers me and comes and talks to me.
Keep it.
They keep it.
Every time they pull it out.
Yep. I have almost everyone that I give one to, I run into again and they go, oh, it's still in my wallet. Look, it's right here. Or it's in my drawer in my kitchen. I use it every day. I have people that tell me that somebody else stole my business card from them. And so they need another one, which is kind of funny, but it's true. And these things, so find little ways to stick out. When you meet people, immediately ask about them.
Don't just start talking about yourself. That is so exhausting. Ask about them.
Yes. Just, hey, and then ask follow-up questions. Oh, that's so cool. So what's going on with that? How has COVID affected you? Or how, even that question's getting a little bit boring now, but ask things like, well, what are you most proud of in your work? Or what do you most enjoy about your work? How did you get into that?
Strike their passion bones. Yes.
Strike their passion bones. I like that. Strike the passion bones. That's what we need to be doing.
Strike the passion bones. But what occurs to me is that we're talking here about being personable again instead of personal. Yeah. Don't go up to people and start being personal. Don't start telling them everything about you and your life. To ask questions and actively listen. Actively listen to what they say so you can have something to respond to. Don't listen to respond. Listen to understand.
And folks, because I literally heard this in about 8 days ago at a networking event, I'm going to put this on out there. Don't talk about your kid's diaper rash at a networking event. It is not relevant. I'm not saying never mention your kids. Also, don't dwell on your kids.
Depending on the event, it might be, Catherine.
We're not having a diaper convention. Right. Come on now. All right. No, but seriously, when you're talking to people, when you're out there networking, be relevant. You can be a little bit personal, but be personable instead, and get to know them and keep it professional and keep it focused on your goal. So what I recommend to people is when you're just starting to get out and network, first find the groups that are most relevant to you, right? Find some of those, line them up, okay? Then you're going to set a goal. What are you trying to do? Trying to get the most contacts? Are you trying to make a few quality relationships that you can convert into a client or into a job? Or, whatever your goal is, set that goal. Then make some steps as to how you're going to get that. If you want the most contacts, I'm going to go around, introduce myself to everybody, give them a little 13-second commercial, get their business card, and be on my merry way. And sometimes that's, by the way, a great way to start. And then the next time you go, you find those people that you found a passion with or you found a connection with and reconnect to them. Yeah. Also, and this will revert to a very primitive part of our brains here. Find the alphas and align with them. I know it sounds silly, right? It sounds silly, but it's true.
It's biological.
So we had, no, you're good. No, you're good. I'm just saying, yeah, you're right. It's very biological. So we had Sasha on last episode from Sasha Speaks, or episode before, something like that, from Sasha Speaks. Mm-hmm. She's one of the queens of the Treasure Coast. So I decided I'm going to make sure she likes me. I'm going to go get to know this lady, because if she doesn't like me, I'm not going to get anywhere in this area. So I went up, I introduced myself. She's always very busy. There's always tons of people around her. And I just kept having little quick interactions. And I got somebody that I knew that already thought highly of me to come, and who knows Sasha very well, to come and have a joined conversation. Mm. But I made sure, and sure enough, has opened all kinds of doors. So find those people. So find those people that are very important in your field and all that, and connect to them and use them, because then what happens is they're out there spreading the good news about you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And these are people that already have established. That's not a word. Look at me.
You're doing good words today, Catherine.
I word good. I word real good, guys. And that's the other thing. Learn to laugh at yourself, guys.
Oh yeah. Please don't take yourself too seriously. It goes back to the humor thing. Like, yeah, that's a way to be personable. There's a tip for being personable. Laugh at yourself.
Yeah. I the other day in a very important meeting, I said that I had an upcoming speakable agreement, or speakable arrangement, meaning I had a speaking engagement. I just flat out did not word good, guys. What the heck is a speakable arrangement? I don't even know, but that's what came out of my mouth. And I just stopped and laughed and made a joke. And then she laughed, and then it became a bonding experience. Guys, in personal branding, you are gonna mess up. What you do with it is you make a joke and keep on marching.
Mm-hmm. That shows multiple things. Like you said, it develops relationship, and also shows how you can think on your feet and how you can handle stressful situations. Like if you mess up, do you just break down? No. That shows that if you mess up, you have a contingency plan.
Yes. And showcasing your personal attributes is everything. That is everything when you're personal branding. And so if you are quick on your feet, show it. If you are witty, show it. If you're a problem solver, find a way to help people. Say, oh, what's your biggest pain right now? oh, here's a great connection I can make for you, or here's an idea. And don't tell them how to do their job, but just give a little intellectual contribution to people. And it showcases you and it helps them and it creates a bond. And it also lets everybody know that person's smart. They know what's going on. I want to reach out to them. Establishes you as an expert.
To advertise yourself.
Yes. Always be advertising yourself. So with that, Michaela, I want to thank you so very much for coming on the show for the 1 millionth time. I swear. I don't even know how many shows we've done, honestly. But thank you so very much. Right. A million's right. I think that's right. We haven't even been on the air for a year, but it's definitely 1 million shows. But thank you so very much for coming on. We're going to welcome Alif Hook next. Everybody connect to Michaela. Bye. Connect to Michaela on LinkedIn. She will reach out to you. She will talk to you. She will make introductions for you. So definitely connect